Triple UFM, broadcasting in Nowra on 104.5 FM.
Have you heard something on the show that Stephen has been discussing? Got a comment? Give him a call. 4422 1045. Triple UFM is your voice. Don't be shy. Pick up your phone.
It's 29 to 6. This is Tuesday Drive, and with much cooler temperatures tomorrow, along with a sunny day in store for the Shoalhaven, a barbecue could just be on the cards, especially after today's testing afternoon, which continues around the state. So what is it that you're going to throw on the hot plate? It will be a sausage, a steak, maybe a piece of halloumi? Well, we're absolutely spoiled for choice in our region, and one local butcher knows that all too well, so much though that he has a trophy sitting in his store. Nathan Alcock from Mountainside Meats was part of a team that battled it out against others across the state, 10 tongs apart, I'm sure. He joins me now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Nathan. Now, tell me, has it been hot in the shop today?
No, nice and cool in here. Reckon balmy, sort of 16 degrees.
Oh, that is positively balmy. Well done. Lucky you. Been a few people jealous today, I imagine. Hey,
Yeah.
hey Nathan, before we get into the competition, I'd love to know, how did you actually fall into the job?
Mate, I started as a wash-up boy when I was about 14 years old in Gerringong, and loved it ever since.
Was your family in the trade at all?
No, not at all. I had mechanics was in my blood. My dad was a mechanic, and I thought that's where I'd end up. But after starting a job as a wash-up boy, I was offered an apprenticeship after a couple of years, and here I am. 27 years later or something, still going.
And what was it that appealed to you?
To be honest with you, I think I wanted to get out of school at the time. So
There's nothing wrong with that, Nathan. Nothing wrong with that.
No, and it's been good to me, and I've loved it ever since. So it's a great trade. I can recommend it to anyone.
Now, this competition that you were involved in over the week, the State Butchery Challenge, where did you have to go to compete in that?
So we had to head up to this Hawkesbury Showgrounds, where we competed against 4 different other states around Australia. So there was Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria and Queensland involved. And we competed over an initial 10 rounds. Wow. And then there was 4 mystery rounds as well. So
you've got 10 rounds, and then you've got an additional 4 on top of that. So you've got 14 altogether. Is that right?
That's correct.
Wow.
That's correct. It was a long day, 10-minute rounds. None of the things we had to do on the day were typical things that you do in your butcher shop. You threw good challenges at us to test skills and stuff like that. So
can you give me a bit of an idea of what you've got to do in that 10 minutes, like something that you don't have to do in the butcher shop?
Okay. So round 1 was we had to. Well, a young fella who was with us at the time, he just come out of his apprenticeship. He was first round. He had to bone a whole side of lamb in 10 minutes and leave it whole. And from there, the next round was to roll the side of lamb as a full piece. We couldn't, do 2 rolls or anything like that. It had to be a full side of lamb rolled. So again, typically something you wouldn't do day-to-day in your butcher shop.
It's interesting you said that, because when you said you had the 10 rounds, I was just sort of envisioning that every 10 minutes you'd have to work on a different type of meat, but obviously you don't. You do something on this piece of meat the first round, then you have to do something different on that same piece of meat the second round.
Yeah, so after we'd rolled it, that roll went into the cool room and stayed there for the final round, which is the display round. Then the other side of the lamb come out, and we had to do some value-added products out of that. Our team captain was on that round, Craig Munro. He had to evaluate the leg of lamb and had 10 minutes to do whatever he wanted. Did very well. He managed to win that round, I believe. Each round was different.
And what was the competition like?
Oh, look, yes, Queensland won last year.
Right.
And to be honest, it was touch and go whether we were going to beat them this year. We were pretty confident, but tell you what, they've got a good team of butchers, and we nudged them out with consistency in the end. I think we won the same amount of rounds each. But across the rounds we didn't win. We were obviously more consistent and come home with a win.
So how many were in your team, sorry?
So there was 5 in the team. 4 of us competed on the day, and we had one, Gareth was there to help out where he could and just to organise things and to get things for butchers if they needed and stuff like that. And also if someone happened to cut themselves on the day or couldn't turn up, then we needed a backup plan. So he was sort of our manager as such, and he did a great job.
Now, I asked about what the competition like, but what was the pressure like on you 4 gentlemen?
Yeah, look, it was hot. We were in the Hawkesbury Showgrounds. It was a hot day. There was I guess anywhere up to probably 500, 800 people watching.
Wow.
At a time, and they were very close. It was the tables were set up so people would be sitting within 3 feet of you, sort of thing, 3 or 4 feet, and they could see everything you were doing, every mistake you hopefully didn't make. It was it's very different to your butcher shop during the day.
So definitely a lot more stress and pressure then.
Definitely. It's and 10 minutes. Well, it's just not a long time to do the job, the task that they set you, and that's sort of, they basically, obviously, when they come up with this competition, they want to put you under pressure, and that's their goal, and they managed to do that pretty well.
So, I mean, back at the butcher shop in North Nowra, for example, how long would it take you on average to roll a piece of lamb?
Look, so as I say, typically we wouldn't roll a side of lamb, but
right,
in a whole piece we can do it, no problems at all. But you'd be looking at 15, 20 minutes,
wow,
sort of thing, to get the same job done as a rule. All these jobs would be the same. You are really flying, and to get the job done properly. And the other thing is you get judged on your skill level as well. So not just your speed, you get judged on the product that you produce, your technical ability, all that sort of stuff. So it's not just sort of slash it up and get the job done. It's how cleanly you bone the lamb. It's how cleanly your bones are. It's how, if there's any little slashes and cuts in the meat. It's there's a lot to think about.
And tell me, Nathan, what's it feel like to be crowned an Australian champion?
Mate, couldn't be happier. I've had some pretty good luck over the years with our sausages and all that sort of stuff, and our World Skills competition. But this one, to be part of a team, a New South Wales team, and to go against the other states, they were a great bunch of guys, and this one sits right up there.
It sounds like you certainly enjoyed yourself up there. The fact that you've come back to Nowra now, you've got back into the swing of life. Have you got any further competition plans at all?
Yeah, so I've competed over the last few years in what's called the Butcher Wars competitions in Sydney at the Meat Stock Festival. Similar style competition where you're given half an hour to do a whole side of lamb and a side of pork, and then you have to display it as well, so you're judged across different areas. We've done well there over the last few years, so we're going to head off to New Zealand in February to compete over there, compete against some butchers from New Zealand. This year at Sydney they had butchers from Canada, Brazil, New Zealand and Australia competing. There's about 25 butchers from around the world, basically.
It sounds actually like a bigger competition than the one you've just been in.
Yeah, basically, look, it's a different style of competition. It's more of a race, and it's about your display at the end, and they get a good crowd there. So they get sort of 20-odd thousand people there over the weekend. So there's a lot of noise and a lot of people, and it's pretty intense to do what you've got to do in the half an hour.
Well, I've got one last question for you, Nath. Sorry, we're running out of time, sadly. I'd love to know, though, as a butcher, when it comes to throwing something onto the barbecue, what's your favourite piece of meat?
Mate, I love a good old-fashioned piece of Scotch fillet or a cattleman's cutlet. We've got a lot of dry aged meat. We put a couple of dry aged fridges in our shop here where we age the meat for about 6 weeks at a time. And we've got some good Wagyu in there and just good Australian beef.
Well,
can't beat it.
Nathan, a very beefy congratulations to you and the boys, and I'm very sorry I just couldn't help myself with the pun there, so you will have to excuse me. But look, best of luck in the competition over the Tasman in Auckland next year, and you'll definitely have to keep in touch with us here and let us know how you go.
Definitely, mate. Definitely, Steve. Not a problem.
Absolute pleasure. That was Nathan Alcock from Mountainside Meats, as you heard, still on a high with his recent achievements at the State Butchery Challenge. And I wonder if that chat's inspired you to throw something more than the humble sausage onto the hot plate. Perhaps you're looking now for a bunch of rosemary you can grab from the garden and cook something new. If you missed the interview, or you think someone may be interested, we'll pop it up on our Tuesday Drive and Triple UFM Facebook page in the next couple of days. But let's head to the Arias with Tones and I. This is Tuesday Drive. Good afternoon.